You're tuning in to CraigCast, the best in Web3, blockchain, NFT, and cryptocurrency technology. Great reviews, incredible interviews with the leading people in Web3. I'm your host, CraigO. Join me on my live stream as we go across multiple platforms, talking to some of the best people in the space. I've done well over 100 episodes, full-length podcasts gone live on multiple channels. All that to be said, CraigCast helps my community to plot, plan, strategize, and implement their next moves. I describe myself as 25% DJ. The other 75% is really steadfast to make sure that I understand the long-term implications of this space. I want to bring information to you. We might not happen to the same NFT community, but we are all here, and the bigger bet is on crypto overall. How will blockchain affect a world that will be fully tokenized in the next 10 to 15 years? Where will quantum computing be? How will AI, as it's already been a disruptor, how will that impact us over the next 5 to 10 years? So everything that we do on this stream is long-term in mind. I'm your host, CraigO. Let's get to it. All right, you are tuning into CraigCast. We provide powerful short clip reviews and incredible interviews with the leading voices across Web3 and emerging tech. Today, I am joined by AJ, a longtime crypto market participant and strategist known for adapting quickly as market conditions change. While others focus on memes and short-term altcoin rotations, maybe that's me, AJ doubled down and then tripled down on prediction markets, using Polymarket to stay active and profitable during periods when crypto has stalled. AJ is also 2025's Crypto Influencer of the Year, Best Variety Channel, and Golden Upvote winner, recognized by a driven community ethic, trust, and consistency built all around. AJ, GM, happy and a healthy new year to you and your family, my friend.
Yeah, GM, man. How you doing? Thanks so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. It was, first off, it's an honor to have you on. And I don't think I ever really dug into what prediction markets are about and what Polymarket actually means. But, you know, look, you're a crypto head like myself. You've got an ape in the back. I know that you were heavily into the NFTs, and, you know, why Polymarket? Why is that your heavy focus? And I love the acronym of focus: follow one course until success. So if that's where all your focus is, why?
Well, I mean, first of all, I like NFTs. I've never made a penny on NFTs. NFTs were always like a community play for me. You always got to find your people. Another famous little quote is, your network is your net worth. And I've always completely agreed with that. I've always been really good at meeting people, and, you know, I'm a little social butterfly out there. And that's certainly, the bigger your circle, the better off you are. And I feel like it's certainly true in crypto, especially when certain things are popping off, certain things weren't popping off. You need to be in the right groups, in the right circle of friends that tell you, hey, don't do this, do this, don't do that. And certainly early on, I had people that went through the ringer a few times already that really helped me not have to make the mistakes they did along the way. Like Crypto Face, for instance, Crypto Wendigo, the Altcoin Daily Brothers, even people like Gareth Soloway, for instance. These are all people that I learned from very early in my career in crypto, especially in content creation in crypto, that I had to I didn't have to make the mistakes they did. I kind of jumped over a certain step because I had the right advice, and I think that's super important. And then with that, you have to be able to adapt. I think the common denominator that most people want to be good at but aren't actually good at is quickly moving on your feet, and when being aware when the environment changes and knowing what to do when the environment changes. And for instance, 2025 was not what we wanted. 2025, we had big hopes for 25, and it just ended up being a slow downhill, a slow bleed out on the battlefield. And obviously there has to become a point where, unfortunately, a lot of people in crypto never actually hold on to that dry powder. They just go all in on crypto, and that's never the move. No matter what, you always want to have dry powder. And then, I mean, I understand people want to make money on altcoins, they want to make money trading, but a lot of times, especially market conditions like that, when everyone thinks the bull market's about to start, a lot of people got really wrecked last year, and it sucks to see, for sure. But it's, how they say like only like 1% of people make money trading crypto. Last year was like that exact example of why that quote is so damn true. And early on, for me, I was just like, you know what? I think I like started getting really into sports betting a couple of years ago, and then once I discovered the functionality of Polymarket, it gave me a big edge that I never had before. You about to say something? Go ahead.
No, I think I was watching to one of your videos where you talked about the referee, and maybe I can draw in on that. You were in your Tesla and you were going on the screen and you were talking about coach performance, right? So you've niched into Polymarket, which is what you say is a gambling, right? But everything is in probabilities. Help me understand what are some key things for you, because obviously we'll talk maybe a little bit as it concerns gambling with politics, right? And I always say people post their virtues, like feed the hungry. Well, it's like, okay, bring the hungry into your home and give them food. Oh, I don't have enough food, right? So I believe that people post their virtues, and a lot more people than they will admit vote with their wallet. And how are they going to put food on the table? How are they going to do these things? So when it came to the coach, and you were saying this coach just had a history with away games versus home games, this is how he's gone in favor. It was part of your betting thesis. I love that word. Hopefully that word thesis doesn't follow us so far into the year. But when you looked at the coaches, what were a couple, like maybe 5 indicators? Because Polymarket seems very easy to use.
Well, so I actually, the coach statistics matter very little. I bet the referees. I bet the refs on every
referees.
Game. If I'm betting on a game, I'm betting the refs. Example, the Ravens Steelers game, the primetime game last Sunday, Sean Smith was the referee. This season, 80% of the time the home team wins with Sean Smith. And the Steelers are at home, slight underdogs for a win in playoff basically game. And what happened at the end of the day? The Steelers won at home.
Right.
Sean Smith, 80% would have been statistically off of his norm if the Ravens won that game. And there it is. Like, there's 1,000 situations I could put to. That's just the most recent one in my mind. So, so a couple things I look at. One, what is the public betting on? So if there's a situation where 89% of the public is betting on this one thing, they're probably going to get their teeth kicked in because Vegas always wins. Thing number one. Thing number two, never bet the teams, never bet the players. I don't care how many running yards McCaffrey has. Who's the referee for the game? That matters more to me than CMC's yards after catch. And thirdly, the functionality of Polymarket gives me an edge on most people betting on DraftKings or Vegas or wherever sport book they're at or whatever. Why? Because if you go to a sports book and you put, $500 on the underdog of the football game that day, that team either wins and you get money, or that team loses and you lose your money. Well, with Polymarket, you're not buying a team, you're buying shares. And those shares fluctuate between, 0 and 100. And say you buy your shares at 30 cents if you're buying the underdog. That underdog gets the lead during the game. They get the first touchdown. They make it a dogfight. They squeak ahead by a field goal in the third. Those shares you bought at 30 cents are going to fluctuate. And if your team makes it a fight, if your team even gets an interception, those shares could go from 30 to 50, 60 cents. You could sell your shares during the game, wash your hands. Doesn't matter who wins or loses. And that's most of my strategy. Do I make hard bets? Like this is the outcome. This is what I'm saying. Yes, I do. But more often than not, most of my actual money is made by literally scalp trading sports bets. You know how many times I wish I could click on a random crypto coin and buy in at 25 and sell at 50 in less than an hour?
Right.
That doesn't exist in crypto anymore. It happens in every college football game. It happens every single day on Polymarket. And as a trader who knows how to read an order book, I'm just like, this is it. This is way easier than waiting around for alts to pump. And I put that together super early on. It's like, I'm not embarrassed to say it, but it is true. I made more money in 2025 on Polymarket than I did in trading crypto.
I believe it.
And that's ridiculous because I made a lot of money in crypto.
What puts you ahead of it? And so let's talk a little bit about your personal channel, how people can subscribe. Because when I looked through all your content, I looked on YouTube and I watched your interviews. Great, by the way, on a number of them that you did. I love the questions that you ask and how you engage with your guests. But more importantly, I love the humility to say, hey guys, this is where I fell short. I'm not going to make that mistake again. And I invite people to click into your YouTube channel. Talk to me about your club or the platform and what's involved with it, because really, I got to tell you, from my end, while I'm not going to be the biggest sports bettor, I think what you'll find me is kind of betting on political outcomes. Like, and I'll be respectful. Tim Walz, I think there's a really good chance that he'll go to jail. Like, if you can go into another country and this president is willing to, and this is my opinion, and we're talking about money. I'm always careful with politics, my friend. And you can go into another country and grab that president. What do you think they're going to do to a governor? And then you rally up the National Guard, which are your citizens within your state, and put them at danger in front of ICE. That can't work out so well. And they actually showed on Polymarket that they also showed Jesus Christ. There was a bet, will Christ resurrect? There was 3
before GTA 6. Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah. But help me understand because I think your niche is focused on the NFL. Maybe it's the NBA as well, but help me understand how people can get involved, because I think it's the simplicity, right? By nature, we're all lazy, AJ. If we're going to be honest, we're all lazy. It takes that, again, these good habits, and hence why I got that book at the beginning of the year to really develop that, to queue it up. But how easy is it for people to get involved and basically set up a Polymarket account and really start playing around in your zone?
It's kind of a multi-pronged question there. One, I don't just bet NFL. Just NFL is, wild card weekend starts Saturday. So yeah, NFL is very hot right now. You have to kind of, just like with trading an altcoin, money flows where attention goes. And right now, all the attention is on the NFL. And, say when I'm talking about scalp trading, when you're scalp trading Ethereum or Bitcoin or anything else, you want to target whatever coin it is that has the most volume, because then you'll be able to get your limit order in and out as quickly as possible, because that coin, whatever, has the most amount of volume. So as a scalp trader, NFL is what you should be targeting right now because of the volume factor. Because if you're jumping in and out for $100,000 at a time, if there's $7 million being bet on this game, you're going to be able to clear your shares at the order size you want if you're betting a few $100,000. So if you follow no matter what I am betting is whatever has the most volume, period. And I'm probably on the sharp money. Sometimes I side with the public, most of the time not. If you follow Polymarket enough, I have like multiple accounts, so I don't really know the bottom line. But what I know is that I research. You can look at the holders. So if you click on like whatever thing you're betting and you click holders, you can see the top holders, and you'll see the same names over and over and over again. I'm not going to give away all my secrets, but there are a few names out there. Some of them are me that you don't know are me, and some of them are some other people that are really good. And when you see the same name pops up and you keep realizing that person keeps winning, maybe you should just follow that guy, because that guy seems to know what's going on. And so like if you click on a Polymarket account and they're up a few $100,000, okay, maybe they're worth listening to. If someone's betting $3 million on something, but their account is down $1 million, maybe you shouldn't listen to that guy. So, that's kind of following the money. Just in crypto, it's the same thing with Polymarket. So whether if the outcome is you're betting the weather in London tomorrow, you're betting how many times Elon Musk is going to tweet, you're betting the outcome of some presidential blue blah in India or whatever the fuck, it doesn't matter. For me, it matters what the sharp money is betting and how much volume there is. It doesn't matter what the question is.
So from between politics, world events, sports, gaming, and there are other categories, are you just really niching into the sports element, or have you gone a little bit outside of that road? And with that, again, you gave a little alpha. People will have to go back and listen to it. I'm not going to repeat the alpha, but it's great insight, and it's a very simple one. But are there other areas outside of the sports, or are you really just kind of really focusing on that as it concerns Polymarket?
Well, sports have a lot of volume. A lot of people pay attention to sports. A lot more people pay attention to sports than they do politics. In situations where the politics get a lot of attention and there's a lot of volume, you can best believe that I will be in there. I'll be involved. I mean, I pay attention to whatever has the most amount of volume. So it doesn't matter if it's sports, it doesn't matter if it's politics, whatever has the most amount of attention, the most amount of volume on Polymarket, that's where you're able to scalp.
Yeah, and I feel like you cut through the signal to noise ratio, because oftentimes we get so emotional in our state, and you see it again in sports. It's kind of I don't know, it's a welcomed emotion versus politics is so divisive. Families don't talk to each other anymore. Friends are, ready to fight. But at least with sports teams, that's still that old feeling that I remember from childhood. I loved the Bears as a kid growing up. It was that sort of that nostalgic feeling, or the Chicago Bulls, right? Everybody was a Bulls fan in the 80s and 90s when Michael was around. So I guess, like, from your end, how do you kind of tune into the specific things? Or, like, for instance, right now it's all NFL, but are you preparing for the season outside the NFL? Is there research that you think you're doing that you put on to your community? And if so, how do people get involved in your community is more of where I really want to draw in with you.
Yeah, sure. I mean, always taking a 1 week at a time approach. Right now, wild card weekends this coming weekend. Really focusing on studying those games as much as I can. There's only so many games left in the NFL season. So I really am buckling down right now to make the most of playoffs. Last year doing playoffs, I made, north of $160,000 in a couple games, so I'm trying to replicate that again. I'm depending on what the Super Bowl is, I might make my first $1 million bet. That would be pretty big. So football has to remain the focus this moment, considering that's what's directly in front of me. After football is over, basketball gets a lot of attention. Hockey gets a lot of attention, both of which I pay attention enough to. I mean, there's also like specialist people that I know. Like, for example, I trade my NFL picks to a top analyst who was a top analyst for college football, where he pays more attention to college, I more pay attention to NFL, and we trade each other's picks. And just like I have a paid Telegram group, he has a paid Telegram group that's just for college ball. So when you kind of find yourself in, the HNI groups, you kind of find people who are really good at this one thing. And so, I have a lot of friends that have a lot of opinions, and I also do my own research to back up what they're saying. So if I have a guy that's like, oh, dude, like all I bet is NBA, I'll be willing to hear him out. I'll back test everything he says. I'll pay attention to his strategies. And also, this all has to be, you have to remind yourself that although a lot of the traditional people that I rub shoulders with don't bet on Polymarket. So in the events where they're hard betting all the time, I'm scalp trading what they're hard betting. So, if the way, basically a quick way to explain this is like, say you're putting $12,000 on whatever, and you're putting $12,000 on a game. Okay. And if your team wins the game, you get $24,000. But during the game, your team has the lead, and you could sell this moment for $18,000. So you're up $6,000, but if you sell and you're wrong, you're leaving money on the table. I don't give a shit about leaving money on the table. I will take that free money every single time. And that's why my win rate is so good, because I don't need to be right or wrong to make money. And that is the edge. So
that's the difference between the scalp trading and the hard betting, correct?
I don't consider what I'm doing gambling. Yeah, there is an element of gamble.
Yeah.
Have I got my teeth kicked down my throat? Of course. But I've made way more money than I've lost, and I'm right way more times than I'm wrong. And I wouldn't be able to be this good at Polymarket if I wasn't already a crypto trader. Because the way I see it, I bought my coin at 30 and it went to 65. I don't need it to go to 100.
Quietly, I guess, how many people within your community? Because when I watch you, I think there's a couple things that breathe through, right? All right, he's playing in Polymarket. All right, he's a degen, but there's a level of, I feel like, credibility to the community on X. Again, that's pretty much how I was exposed to you. And then I go to your YouTube channel, kind of how we're inversely figuring out who's connecting with who. And I'm loving what I'm doing. Again, I'm just a guy in a basement with a camera in front of me, just having conversations with great people who are highly successful and skilled in their field. Have you had like those DMs going, AJ, I made that bet and it was freaking life changing because you've decided to put yourself out there and be like, hey guys, I'm very successful at this. And you again, I think you move as strategically as possible. I hope so. But with all that being said, have you gotten those quiet DMs going, thank you, bro. I really appreciate that because how you spoke about it, how you broke it down. And again, I didn't mean coaches. I meant the referees. So thank you for that correction or that clarification.
Yep.
But,
I know what you meant.
Yeah, but do you get those DMs and how gratifying must they be?
Yeah, of course. I mean, so you have to understand that, my channel was mostly strictly crypto for probably 2 years, where
Okay.
my public, I've been involved with Polymarket for much longer than I publicly rotated in the Polymarket. I publicly rotated in the Polymarket so I could be a beacon of hope during everyone else just getting demolished holding their altcoins. And I basically made it a point to guys say, hey, you can still make money in crypto without watching your altcoins fall 10% every day. Right. And although I am a proponent of altcoins, I hope my own altcoin bag isn't doing that well either, but that doesn't mean you can't, make really serious money in the space just because your alts are down. So learning that, thing number one. Thing number two, so because I was a crypto just a straight up, I'm known. I started off in this world as a day trader, leverage trader.
Okay.
And I, of course, I have my Telegram groups. That's kind of how I built the base of AJ Writes Crypto, everything. And of course, over the years, I've had, I don't even know how many DMs, dude. I was able to pay off my mortgage. Hey, I was able to buy my wife a new car. Hey, dude, you have no idea how much you helped me. Or it's anyone from not being able to pay their rent to paying their rent, or someone who was at 1 million that got the 10. I've helped the range of people I've been able to help along the way. I mean, that means the most to me.
That's where I was
always
going
come from the kind of like the Alcoholic Anonymous like train of thought, like you can't keep what you have unless you give it away. That's kind of I've always really felt that statement on a fundamental level. Because like you're not, how do I word this? You're not really that good at what you do if you can't replicate exactly what you do by teaching it to other people. So for me, it's like, okay, I made all this money. I did all this stuff. Okay. Am I that good? Am I really that good? Because if you're really that good, you can teach everyone how to do it. And that's kind of what I've been trying to prove to myself over and over and over. And now, so it's kind of, for me, it's like a multidisciplinary thing. Like, okay, for me, it's not so much it's not so much how you can make your money. Like, there are really shitty ways you can make $1 million. But for me, it's like I'm always impressed by how people make their money or how many different ways people can make their money. So for me, it's, okay, I did this thing in crypto. I kind of, checked off a bunch of boxes in that space. I kind of feel like Polymarket's like my natural evolution forward, where I feel like there are some people that are just going to end up being stale and just doing the same thing over and over and over and over because they're not evolving with the times, where I kind of feel I kind of saw it ahead of the time. Okay, you could probably rotate in prediction markets because things aren't working too good in the altcoin space. So let's move forward. Let's not get stuck doing the same thing over and over. So that was a big part of it too. And obviously to join my community, third part of your question. So I have my main channel is AJ Writes Crypto. That was my name when I started off. So AJ Writes, I'm going to keep AJ Writes just because it's like such a name in the space. It's been around for a while. Everyone knows who I am, but I'm actually starting a second channel called Trade Crypto Today. First of all, when I got the IP for Trade Crypto Today, I could not believe no one else trademarked that name. I did. I got the websites, I got the name, I got the YouTube, I got everything. No one took the name Trade Crypto Today.
Right.
I don't know how I was able to steal that, but I was thinking of really simple names, and I got it. And so basically, because some people were like, hey, like your channel used to be just crypto, and now you're interviewing Andrew Tate and you're talking about the Eagles. Well, I'm just like, hey, dude, like, I think at the bottom line is that I don't feel like a need to like be devoted to just doing crypto news or just making price predictions or just grading your portfolio. So. I'm going to do what makes money. Like, that, as selfish as it sounds, I don't give a shit. I am doing what makes money. And the people that have really followed me really know that. So Trade Crypto Today is kind of my answer to the backlash I got, where I'm going to make a single 4 to 6 minute video every single day. That's one singular chart. Here's this one thing about this one chart. Go trade crypto today. And AJ Wrights is kind of just going to be the jambalaya channel of random interviews and, Polymarket stuff,
When are you
price predictions, all the normal crypto stuff will
Yeah.
be on AJ Wrights, where Trade Crypto Today is more the TA channel.
When are you launching that? When that channel, is that coming out in the next month?
I already launched it.
Beautiful.
I started it last year. It's at like 2.5 thousand subs, and I kind of stopped posting there for a little while because the holiday seasons were a little crazy. I have a 7-month-old baby. Kind of bit off more than I could chew when I first started it. But now basically I'm busy until after the Patty. So I'm going to the Supercross race this weekend. Next weekend's UFC in Vegas. After that, I kind of have a bunch of downtime where I'll really be able to put my head down, do the content. And so Trade Crypto Today will be probably 4 or 5 times a week, where AJ Writes Crypto is like 2-3 times a week. So I'm kind of spreading it out.
I feel like we've got charts and we've got social sentiment. For me, I'm going to stick to the short clips. Again, that's why I'll look up on that channel. I love doing the short clips because people have the attention span of a gnat. As it relates to crypto, I'm kind of happy to see that you'll be talking about it. The chart analyzing side, I let, guys like you who read the charts and do that. And again, your background only makes sense to it. If someone were to get involved, obviously I want people to go and follow you. If they're not following you, they need to. Again, I've heard about Polymarket for so long. I used to call it Polymarkets with the S at the end. But once I started to dive in and prepare for today's conversation, I want to talk a little bit about UX and UI and sort of the ease of use of Polymarket and how easy it is. You just got to get some Polygon, bring it over, and then you can start to play your bets. And sort of the simple waters is that if people are going to get involved in Polymarket, and that's where I'm going to kind of play around a little bit. I want to follow you. I want to kind of hear what you're doing. You talked about with the NFL, like you could do all these spreads and all these things, but you took simplified bets. You broke it down because you spoke about something being duplicatable. So if someone wanted to say, Craig, I want to be a podcaster or a streamer, what do you do? Well, I could say, okay, here's the technical setup. Here's how I do it. Here's how I practice. Here's my run sheet. Here's how we stay organized. And so you want to make what you do duplicatable. And I feel like that's the confidence that you bring. I also love I don't say the love letters, but the letters from your network or your base saying, hey, thank you. I was able to do X, Y, and Z because of these calls and because of the consistency. And again, the humility that you bring. But let's talk about Polymarket from a user interface standpoint. How easy is it, from your opinion, for somebody who's just stepping on? You have a Facebook account. You know how to, browse the internet. What are the comparables for an everyday user?
Well, a little bit more to it than hopping on to DraftKings, but that kind of comes with the territory because it is a crypto app. I feel that they are well aware of this, and you have to understand that Polymarket knows that their top competition is Kalshi. So they're doing everything they can to kind of remove not remove the crypto rails, but remove the friction involved with the crypto rails to make it as easy as, oh, you need to fund it, you can use a credit card or whatever, where most of the time people just have a MetaMask and they pull, they go into the browser in their MetaMask, and then to withdraw or to deposit, you can just click use connected. It says use connected, and you can use your MetaMask wallet to fund or withdraw from Polymarket. So that's, right, how most people do it. Also, there is like a beta right now for the US, like Polymarket US. It technically did launch last year. Still working out the kinks, stuff like that. I don't know exactly when the main version is coming out, but but it's pretty simple to use, man. Like, and it's also kind of one of those things where if someone's not willing to take the steps to learn how to like move around a little bit of crypto, maybe you shouldn't be betting a bunch of money on anything. So you need to have it dude, there are people that want to join like my Telegram group. Like I have a paid Telegram group for crypto and a paid Telegram group for Polymarket, my Polymarket trades. I'm straight up about that. I mean, there's a secret. I have a secret sauce. I'm extremely profitable. I have no qualms with saying you can follow my trades, but it's not free. I don't care if people judge that. The truth is that when people say, "Oh, can I PayPal you?" I'm like, no. If you don't know how to send USDT on Ethereum, you're not allowed in my group. You are not, and you're not coming. No.
Right.
And I've told so many people that. So I don't care at all.
People have to be able to break out. And I think people are, this would be an interesting polymarket. Do you think most people are stupid or smart? I'm going to go that
most people are stupid.
I know, but wait. But I'm going to say that people have a level of intelligence. They just don't know how to either access it or they're too lazy to apply it. That's just my thought. Again, maybe I'm the forever optimist, and hence they put a smartphone in our hand because we're stupid. Hence they call it smart, right?
Well, I think that it is super rude to say on a public, but most people are stupid. It's kind of true, but it's kind of like most people. It just got, I don't mean like actually most people, but I just mean like kind of like the NPCs out there, and we all know, you've seen them, like, you know who I'm talking about, and it's just like, hey, why don't you just think about something for 5 seconds? Just like take 5 seconds to think. And I feel like some people just never learned how to learn, man. You know what I mean? I'm not like judging. It's just one of those things. It's just like, hey, it's really not that hard if you just Googled it for 5 seconds. Like, you'll figure it out. Like, go ahead.
I was going through Polymarket, right? Polymarket will supply the Dow Jones with trading data under a new partnership, putting prediction markets in front of broader audiences. Dow Jones will publish our prediction data. News outlets such as the Wall Street Journal, Barron's. I mean, that's pretty huge when I look at that, and I just want to kind of get your feeling on it a little bit, along with obviously the Hampton Inn. They're taking down the signs in Minnesota. So again, it's always kind of interesting because I always say the truth lies in where people will place their money, not their virtues. Tim Waltz, I love this one. The odds of Tim Waltz being criminally charged, you're gonna love this, are mooning higher than a meme coin chart. Wow, that's pretty interesting. Any takes on those Polymarket tweets?
I don't have them right in front of me. Tim Waltz will probably he'll probably go to jail. But so here's the thing I want people to consider is that I know an account on Polymarket. I actually know the guy. He started Polymarket in June this year because of my channel. He started in June, and we talk every now and then. And what he does is anytime Polymarket puts out a market that seems a bit off, that seems like, oh, that'll never happen. Like, what a long shot. You know what I mean? Like, say if the yes is it's 95% likely to happen, and the no is that it's 5% likely to happen. This guy will put so much money on the no, because it's so not likely for this thing to happen. And his money is made from when it goes from 95% to 100%. And he's making that 5%. And he's done this. He's grinded this tediously since June and has made over $60,000, which is a lot of money for that guy. Made over 60 grand since June, just clicking no when things are not likely to happen. So hold on, really quickly, I will show you. I will go to Polymarket's home page. You don't even need to see it. Let me find one.
And guys, if you're not following AJ, please go give him a follow on X2X. Follow his YouTube channels as well as Trade Crypto Today. That channel, he'll be a little more active with it in the coming weeks with more great content.
Thank you. But yeah, man. I mean, there's literally a million of them. Like, who will win a women's calendar Grand Slam in 2026? And the nun says 93% for yes. He would probably bet yes for 93 because it's so likely to happen that it's going to happen. So anytime you see something that's a super high percentage, like 96%, 96 cents yes, bet yes. And just make if it's $1,000 to make 1,030, do it.
Right.
Because you're going to make that $30 almost every time.
It's
and the
crazy.
guy
It's
makes his
crazy. But
living.
that right there is like the picking up cans and putting them in for 5 cents strategy right there. I remember it, man, as a kid. I remember like seeing the guy with the cans. He'd be lugging around town, and here you are giving like a real easy strategy. For 2026, AJ, what is your, like, if there was like this, I'm gonna say, hey, try to stay away from gold, but what is your 2026 outcome? What do you want to see for 2026 for you, your family, for your base, for everybody that's tuning into you? What do you want to happen?
I mean, I want the Eagles to win the Super Bowl again because I want to go back.
Okay.
That'd be great.
All right.
Dude, like I just want to see crypto continue to win. And I feel that a lot of people, I mean, I don't know how many death threats you've gotten, but I've gotten, more than 30 about, I bought this altcoin and it's down from when you told me to buy it and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, hey man, like I never made anybody click the button. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, of course,
Right.
like I'm sponsored by certain projects. So I'm contractually required to talk about certain things. And just because that thing doesn't go to the moon a week after you buy it doesn't mean that it's a failure. And it's actually, you technically never lost unless you sold.
Right.
There's that aspect of it too. And it's just like, I just want crypto to win, man. Like, I think that, 2020, the end of 2024 caught a lot of people by surprise. And it wasn't really like a textbook altcoin bull run.
Right.
It was kind of like this weird, awkward, like, oh, here's 300%, boom, and then we just fell off the face of the earth. And a lot of people didn't have the wherewithal to take any profits during that time. I know I did, but did I sell my entire bag? No, I did not.
Yeah.
But I took a lot of profits, that's for sure. But at the same time, I want people to be a little bit more pragmatic, a little bit more realistic. Yes, I want crypto to win, but you have to realize as a normal altcoin holder that, like, everyone thinks this is going to happen, and everyone thinks, oh, if my bags do this, I'll have this much money. Everyone thinks that, bro. You got to think a little bit more outside of the box. But as much as go ahead.
But you know what, though, AJ, you bring up a lot of great points. I think it's like a lack of patience. Also, people, the inflation. So again, if someone doesn't have a high level of means, that 50 cents more for that coffee or for the groceries, that's, $50 more, it affects people in different ways, and it makes people emotional and act, irrationally. I haven't gotten any death threats, and hopefully not. That would not be nice. That would be.
That's
really
how
shitty.
You're starting to make it, when people start threatening your life.
I'm not. And look, I'm grateful that I get to have conversations with guys that have gotten death threats. So what an honor to have you on. But with Benjamin Minku, who's the CEO of MVX, Multiverse X, old Elrond, he's coming on February 4th. I've had him. This will be the second time having him on. Yep. And people are like, don't let him run on. Don't let him. And so I'm getting not the death threats, but I'm getting, this is how you should. I'm like, look, if you feel that passionate about the questions, then you invite him on. Then you have created the platform and put the time and, chisel away at that wall. I just keep banging away at that wall. I continue to double down on things, but no death threats, but just people telling me how to do my job. And I'm like, well, if you don't like how I'm doing my job and you're going to tell me, then you do it for me.
Yeah.
It's fair.
Yeah. I'm pretty like upfront about things. I'll just be like, hey man, like fuck off. Like, or I just won't say anything at all and just block them. That always works. But Benjamin, nice guy. I interviewed him at Rare Evo on a panel with Mark Vandenberg from Algorand and this guy from Cardano. And Benjamin was the fourth guy on the panel. And I asked him the question, we were talking about onboarding the next billion users into crypto. And I said, hey, bro, we're onboarding the next billion users. Are they human? And he loved that question. So definitely try to bring that up. I will. Tell him I said hello. He's a nice guy. Really nice guy.
what a small world it was, because it was actually as I was following Melker last year to get him on. Finally, it took 2 years to get him on. Thank you, Scott. I appreciate you.
That's
Humbly.
Scott for you, bro. He's one of
But
my
I'm good.
he's one of my homies. He takes forever to respond, bro.
I'm good with that. I look. The fact is, he's got a beautiful new studio. I love the way he engages with the community. I enjoy that if you're passionate about the space and you have a level of personality about it, and you show yourself to be in good character and you show up as you say you will. You know, I'm good with you. Like that's just what it is. And you know, some of us are going to win, some of us are going to lose. Like WAGMI, I hope we'll all make it. You know, all that to be said. You know, I guess one of the questions is, you know, Benny, if we focus as much on the MVX chain as that beautiful coif of hair you have, I think things will be off. I guess it's the question, right? Because you have to laugh at yourself. You can't take yourself so seriously that people can't laugh with you. If people aren't laughing with you, and I think that's the thing, is that there's this frustration of heavy token holders. And when I look at it, it's you've got sub-second finality with Supernova, because I've been diving into that microseconds, right? So it'll be, instead of TPS, it's TPMS, right? Multi-seconds or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if you don't have the social currency and the trust of the community, it's a much harder wheel to push up. And so I'm curious as to how do we grab the attention of US and well beyond to get people more engaged? What does it take? And so I'm grateful to have him back on a second time. It's going to be fun, you know?
The thing with Multiverse X is that I don't like that they never fixed the name of the token. It's still EGLD. And from a branding perspective, I'm sorry, that's lazy. If you're going to rename your entire company, but your ticker is still EGOLD, EGLD, that's already bad number one. I'm actually really interested to hear what he's going to say, because he was kind of coming from a position when I talked to him in June that things were going to turn around, blah, blah, blah. They talk a big game. But the truth is, since the local top in December of 2024, currently sitting at $5.70 from the local high of 58.86, they're down 90% in 400 days. I'm really curious to hear how he's going to talk himself out of that hole, and how he's going to get his core group to rally behind that.
Well, when I had him on last time, you know, he how do I say? I want to say this the right way. He can go on. It's like that runaway train. Like, I enjoy this and thank you for this.
Got to cut him off.
Conversation. Yeah,
cut him off. Yeah,
it's gonna feel shitty. And the first time he came on, what an honor. And again, the community rolls in heavy comments, and I hope to do it right. But it's how do we get people to invest in this EGLD token? I love the X Portal app and all of these great things. But it makes sense to me why you got so involved with Polymarket. It's like, okay, my alts, I love my alts. I love those particular, because we talked and it was like, Craig, let's really focus in on Polymarket. People can see what I have and who I'm sponsored by, but really dive in. I feel like we've really done that. And look, if you don't know how to send USDC, on Ethereum, just step back, learn that first, learn the basics, and then tune into AJ, but definitely follow him.
Yeah. I mean, I do, in my Telegram group, I have like a little for beginners, do this. I spoon feed it to you, but it's kind of like, man, like if you're not willing to take a little bit of effort, a little bit of initiative to get, I mean, this is your own finance, your own money you're talking about here. Right. Why not try a little bit? Like, you can't just expect things to just multiply without things happening. And it's like, people in my group, like I had this one guy, he joined my group. He lost one single bet and like lost his mind. And I'm like, hey, did you do every bet we posted this week? No. I'm like, oh, because we posted 11 bets and 9 of them were right. So whose fault is this really? Because I don't say to put all of your money on one thing, like whatever your unit is, which is like a unit in betting is the amount of money you're comfortable losing that you bet consistently every time. People lose when they make predictions or whatever, because they'll make it $10 here, they'll make $10 here, they'll make $10 here. Oh, I'm on a roll. Let's bet 500 on this next thing. And then they just get mollywopped across the face, and then they feel dumb. Well, you shouldn't do it that way. You should do it consistently every time. For me, I bet between 20, 30, 40,000, like kind of like my units, you know what I mean? And I make the same amount of money. And sometimes I go crazy and bet more than that. But the thing is that like I kind of know what's going to happen if I make 11 bets and I hit 9. That's pretty damn good, but you can't just like pick one thing, and you got to follow all the steps, not just whatever one you feel like. And
I feel like you just laid it down, right? Is that you can give all the guardrails in place to keep yourself as safe as you can, and you don't consider it gambling. But I was going to ask you, what is the most common mistake that you see crypto native traders make when they first move into prediction market? And you kind of answered it. All your eggs in one basket. Like that's sort of the thing, is that people go, I want to make money now. And, I'll give you an example. So as we're re-preparing for our conversation with Benny, my dear friend, Matt Diaz, it's just in on this, watching this, shout out to you, my dear friend. He's like, Craig, I need you to do some of this legwork and make sure that we're prepared for when you have Benny come on, take a look at these things. Because for me, I can just lean in on people. But for me, it's like, the real friends will hold you to task and say, okay, I have that information for you, but go and make sure that you do these things before time. And it's speaking to, if someone's going to join in your group, it's sort of like, hey, before you do anything, learn how to send crypto safely, understand how your account works, protect it if it's 2FA, whatever it is, do those things, and then start to listen to me for about a week before you make any moves, and then start to play with us.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, man. You know how much sense that makes, bro?
I know. You know how many times I've made the wrong move? I remember. I'll give you a fun little story. And this is a great hour, by the way. I could talk to you for a lot longer.
Same.
Last October, I lost all my crypto. You said, well, AJ, CraigO, you sound really smart. How did you do such a stupid thing? And I would tell you, well, the shoemaker with no shoes. This would be my response to you. All that I did is I had all my stuff in hot wallets. And I said, as long as I don't click on the wrong link when I'm buying or selling, I'm good, right? No, idiot. No. So I clicked onto malware. Didn't know it. Actually, I did, but I thought I had solved the problem. So I clicked onto it and I was like, oh, this is kind of weird. But I was like, I thought we had the problem remedied. 30 days there later, on October 31st, Halloween morning, I'm coming down into this room where it's my basement. Again, don't trust whatever a guy says in the basement. Don't trust my trades. And I'm just sitting over here getting ready to meditate. And I go onto my phone real quick. And on my Rally app, I just see all my NFTs and all my crypto just going out. I came upstairs. I'm like, babe, I'm on the ground in a fetal position. And my wife looks at me and she goes, honey, I told you it's a scam. And I'm looking up at her and I'm crying, dude. I'm crying. I'm literally with it. I'm crying, dude. I'm crying. Like, this is a lot of money for me. And
that's fucking hilarious.
My kids are like, he lost his crypto. So they would tell everybody at school, he lost his crypto. So it took me months to actually feel confident again. And now every day I'll check my Etherscan and that shit's all the way down now. So I don't even check it as much. But to go through that experience and realize that if I had just taken the time, and I had already been 100 episodes in, or interviewed Mark Yusko, Amanda Terry. I mean, I'm already, credibility. And here I am, literally took the gun and shot myself in the foot.
Yep.
That was painful.
That story when I told you it was a scam, honey, that's fucking hilarious, bro.
Yeah,
that's the funniest part of the story. No, that's already happened to me 2 separate times. I've started from zero in crypto. I've learned from my mistakes. I mean, do you think I have any of my accounts attached to this computer here that I do my show on? Fuck no. Hell no.
Yeah.
Dude, if anyone wants my crypto, they're going to have to kill me. That's you want to know how to rob AJ? You have to kill him. Because that's the only way you're going to get it.
aside from your tenacity, your hard work, your great connections, just like you're a beautiful soul. So I want you to stay around. And whether you're broke or you make lots of money, all the success be unto you. By the way, if I was to actually play on tennis or play in that realm to bet on tennis, I'd actually ask my cousin, amazing tennis player. His knees probably not the best because we're in our 40s, AJ. So we're a little bit older than you, Okay. Go to the people that know what they're doing and then tune into what it is that you're doing. So at least they can compare before they place bet. I mean, that's also potentially as my mind starts to think around Polymarket and realizing that this information is the truth. How people vote with their money will tell you how they really feel about the situation and where their conviction is and where the probability is. What is like, and just in kind of closing up on the top of the hour, if there was a message to somebody that's starting off this year, and you and I know we have goal sheets. I know no question about it. You are definitely goal oriented and very, I would say, pretty, what would be the word? Not devoted, disciplined. I think you're fairly disciplined. Not saying that you don't have your proclivities for craziness on a Friday night. You're still young, but you're engaged. What would be the one message that you would have for someone who's starting the year going, I don't know what the I'm doing. What should it be? Where would be the first thing that you might tell somebody? For me, I think actually Atomic Habits would be my go-to for somebody. Just read the fucking book.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, my brain goes a couple different directions when you ask that question. Like, I'll start fishing my way through this answer.
Cool.
The problem with this space is that most people that are coming in from the outside don't really have money to gamble with, don't really have money to bet. They don't really want to lose the little they have.
Right.
And they're unable to climb the socioeconomical ladder because of that fear and because of, oh, if I YOLO this on the spread and I lose, I can't pay my rent. I'm gonna have to move in back to my parents' house. And they just kind of do this whole trail of how much worse their life is going to be, and they're already creating their reality because they're living in fear. They're letting fear steer the wheel. They're letting fear take the wheel. Right. What's the famous quote from The Sopranos? What is it? It's something like
I've been watching those reruns, by the way.
Fear knocked on the door, faith answered, there's nobody there. I love that quote. I love that quote so much. And so basically what I'm trying to say, I said a lot right there. What I'm trying to say is a lot of people don't have the means to be able to get that ball rolling initially. And me, I don't know how well you know my story. I mean, I've started from zero in a new city with no friends and no money more times than I'd like to admit. I'm 34 now. My 20s was quite the roller coaster. And I'm so good at starting from zero. And I've made so many friends along the way that if someone stole everything, every single thing that I have right now, I'd be back to where I am right now in 6 months. No bullshit. No bullshit. And I know how to start from zero more than anyone else that I know. And why is that? Because I know how to take a risk. I know how to take chances. The problem with people that surround themselves by fear, oh, I can't take this bet, I can't take this risk because of, and they make all these excuses.
Right.
They're going to sit right where they're sitting. They're not going to move an inch. They're going to be stuck right where they are, and that's where they'll stay. And it's because they are not willing to put it on the table and say, you know what, let's do this. And that push to say, you know what, you don't have much to start with anyway. Fuck it. You only got $2,000 to your name. Fuck it. Go for it. You know, try to get to 10. Yeah. And so basically, I come from a place where I obviously Martindale, everything I bet. I very rarely have a loss for like an overall week, because if I start at a $10,000 bet and I lose that, the next one is 22.5. If I lose that one, the next one's 50. If I lose that, the next, and I will just keep doubling and doubling and doubling and doubling and doubling. And I have enough money that I can be wrong 15 times. And I'm not going to be wrong 15 times in a row. It's just not going to happen. It's impossible. Right. Especially with who I follow and the things I'm paying attention to and the edge I have with the referees and scalping Polymarket. Like it's not going to happen. You know what I mean? So I think the truth is that everyone has an excuse on why they're going to be where they are and why they can't do this and they can't do that. That's just what it is. It's an excuse. So stop making excuses. You're only going to be as successful as you let yourself be. So start rolling the dice, because that's the only way you're going to break it out. You're going to have to say, even if it's trading crypto, I don't care if it's trading crypto, playing poker, playing on Polymarket, whatever it is, it's a risk. I'm not a professional sports bettor. I'm not a professional crypto trader. I'm a professional risk taker.
Right. I love it. I love it. And again, I want to just finish this up on this last thing. I have a prediction for you, AJ, your channel, your content, your network, your followers, your participants. I have a prediction that more people are going to be positively influenced. They're going to learn, not just earn, but they're going to learn. And that confidence that you speak of, at the end of the day, if you have no money, your network is your net worth. I agree with that completely. Hence, the amount of connections that I've been able to make has been valuable. Do I have the ability to put these clips that you do? No, but I'm okay with it. And I have friends that can, and I have friends that can't. And maybe I sit somewhere in between. But it's great to connect with people that really want to make an intentional difference. And that is you. And I'm so honored to have you on. And one of the things actually was a book that I read. Actually, I read it till the cover came off. It's The Daily Laws by Robert Greene. I don't know if you've ever read this book, but it's a deep dive on human psychology, because we as humans are nothing more than patterns of prediction. And when you have prediction, well, Polymarket, AJ combined, I'm going to continue to follow you closely. However, I can help to add more value to what it is that you're doing. Please just know that I'm always here for you. All right.
Sure. Appreciate you. Maybe we'll trade. I'll have you come on, not this month, maybe like March. I could probably have you on my channel if you want to trade content.
I would love to be on your channel, man. It's an honor, you know. I'm always up for that, but I genuinely just want you to know what a fun it was to have you on. And remember, we saw a couple of those comments. It was like, I told you it was a scam. Yeah, that was the dagger. I had to pull that out for months. Now I am talking to my wife about, Bitcoin and trying to educate her a little bit. All right, one quick prediction for you. Quick, I just one, and I won't ask you about any other token. Bitcoin. Okay. Where do you think it's going to be this year? Why do you think it performs?
Well, can I share my screen with you?
Vic, can he share the screen?
I think I know how to. Hold on. I think I know how to do it. One sec.
No problem.
Hold on. Let me find the correct Bitcoin chart here. If we're going to do this, we're going to do it right, bro.
Yes. Yes. Vic gave a thumbs up. He said you can share.
I know what to do.
Thank you, Vic.
One sec.
Shout out to Vic, my editor.
Let me click over here. Plus share screen, allow. No, not this screen. I want to share my window. Hold on, don't put it on the thing yet. I gotta stop screen, because there's a way on this to share just the window. There it is. Window. This window. Boom. Okay. All right. Can you add that to the stage?
I sure can.
All right. You see this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. All right. So this is just right now, nothing fancy, just market cipher, a volume profile, and the candles for Bitcoin.
Yep.
This is the issue that I have with Bitcoin that I was really worried about, because everyone really got excited when we had this little run from 84 to 94. We had an 11% move in 15 days. So a couple things are our saving grace. We have this little local uptrend. And even if you go further back, so this is a common thing traders do here, where if you kind of draw every connection point in the uptrend from any 2 points, a lot of times if we are to, it's called a bump and run is technically what it's called. So let me extend this one out a little bit. All right. So if we are to lose this, we're likely to come here. And if we lose this, we're likely to come here. That's just like a little strategy I learned a way called the bump and run. So we do have the uptrend going for us. And it's really important that we did not put in a lower high from here, because this level at 74.8, this is probably my line in the sand personally. I don't think we can completely freak out, because let me just get rid of market cipher here for a second. Hold on. So when we came all the way up, right? We came all the way up from here, and then right at this moment, oh no, we're going back down. That's at the moment, at the most fear, The moment of most fear was the perfect time to buy. And then once again, we're right at support resistance. We're right at this previous high. The moment at the most fear, that was the perfect time to buy. So what I'm saying is that this level, this support resistance level, so what I say, 74.8 something, 74.864, that is my line in the sand. Because if we go below that, that's like official over. We can, I mean, we're still above support resistance, but what worries me is when it stalls out. Okay. So if you are to, oops, did not mean to draw that. When you kind of just look at the local price action, right? This is where things get a little bit interesting, because if you look at where we got rejected literally at the worst spot to get rejected, not a penny above. And if you ignore that spike down, if you ignore the wick of that candle, technically speaking, ignoring one wick on the daily chart, Bitcoin has been in a 10.8% range for 56 days. So when my crypto trading group asked me why I'm not posting as much as I used to, it's because a certain set of conditions have to be met for me to even want to trade. If you want to go ahead and trade chop bullshit like this, be my guest. These are not conditions to trade in at all, not even a little bit. So basically what I'm saying is that I am not the type of trader that says, oh, this is going to happen by this date. I'm the type of trader that will identify what I like to call a conditional range, and where the top part of this 56-day range is 94958, 94958. Okay. Ignoring this wick right here. This is a little wick. I'm not worried about that wick. Actually, that wick will become the target if we lose this, which is, let's just call it 84,000. It's actually 8412, but we'll just go 84,000, because if 84,000 hits, it actually lost that level. So for 56 days, it's been back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And this wick right here will actually be my first target if the lower alarm. So what I do, it can go back and forth between 94.9 and 84,000 all it wants to. It can spend an eternity in there. I don't care. I'm not trading the chop. If it breaks 94.9, that's my long. And then support resistance levels here and here, those are my targets. And then if we lose 84, this first wick right here at 80,600, that's my target. And then the support, the line in the sand support resistance level at 74.8, that would be target number 2. So I don't care what happens. I'm only trading the break of the range, and that's how I trade. There's no, I don't do other guessing. I'm a range trader, and I just, whatever alarm goes off first, that's the direction I'm trading.
I love it. I love it. I could talk to you about crypto for hours, but I love how we dived into Polymarket. Let's continue the conversation, AJ, and thank you so much for coming on and sharing that chart and your knowledge.
Yeah, totally. I mean, people always say, like, oh, what's going to happen? I'm like, dude, the truth is no one can see the future. No one can tell you for a fact which one of those two alarms is going to go off first. But what I know is that if something trades sideways for 56 days, whenever it breaks out of that range, the longer it stays inside that range, think of the spring getting pushed down a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. Once that range breaks, it's going to break. That's your direction. So as long as you're aware of the parameters, when that alarm goes off, there you go.
And that's the mindset that you provide. Again, this is what you do, and you're providing that knowledge to everyone. So yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. What a great way to start off my new year with you as our first guest. And everybody be tuned in for those short clips. We're going to go back in and grab some of those nuggets. And if you're not following AJ, please do so. Everyone, have a happy and a healthy new year. We'll see you for our bi-weekly streams.
Awesome. Craig, thanks.